Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn. Our guest is a good friend of mine. We've been planning a birthday celebration since September of 2017 and just haven't had a chance to get together. Her name is Devon Blaine. She's a public relations and marketing consultant with the Blaine Group. It's her company. And I have been working with Devon as part of the Blaine Group family for years and years and years, providing a number of services, but especially media training and video production. And I asked Devon to come on because she provides us with a number of guests, including the Komen Foundation, the Susan G. Komen Foundation in Los Angeles, as we are a media sponsor of that. And I don't think I've ever interviewed Devon before. So, Devon, welcome to Late Night Health.
Well, thank you, Mark. I am thrilled that you've asked me to be part of your show today. Your 300th Late Night Health?
Yes. Isn't that amazing?
Congratulations. That's an awesome achievement.
We're really excited about it. And as Daryl just pointed out, I thought we had only been doing this show for 3 years. And
show number 312 will be six years. So
in a month and a half, 2 months.
How time flies when you're having a good time.
We are.
And doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much. What does Late Night Health mean to you? Forget the fact that you're not financially, but what do you think from a standpoint of providing information? You get a lot of feedback on us.
I do, because you are gracious enough to interview so many of our clients, a number of them who have become raving fans of your show.
Well,
after becoming acquainted with it. More than one has told me that they listen on a pretty regular basis.
Wow.
What touched me, Mark, about your show? Because I've known you before you did Late Night Health.
Yes,
and you told me that Daryl came to you and said, if you were to do a show, what would you most want to talk about? And you are smart on so many topics and always have been a great interviewer, which is why we keep pitching you.
And I don't always accept the pitch.
No, you don't. So what struck me about Late Night Health is that you told me that you answered Daryl's question by saying, I'd want to talk about what health issues keep people up at night.
It's true.
And that not only makes a whole lot of sense, but covers a really, really broad spectrum. Because it isn't just health that keeps people up. It can be other things that then cause health issues.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And there's a whole lot of people who don't sleep well at night. So you've got a significant inbuilt audience.
And of course, with the advent of something called the Internet, we are now accessible for the most part 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And what I envisioned the show to be was I just called it a smorgasbord. You can have some of this and some of that, but you don't need to take that.
It can be traditional health. It can be alternative health. It can be other things that deal with health. It can be preventative.
Yes, and we talk about all of that kind of stuff. And I guess the focus of the show is really empowering people to explore and to take charge of their own health care.
Yes, I'm a huge advocate of people taking charge of most things in their lives.
We've talked about insurance companies, and an insurance company, that's one of the motivations that led me to the show. Just before Daryl and I were sitting in the studio, and I was visiting his own show.
The latest from the greatest.
Well, no, I was not on late. It was. I'm blanking out. I'm looking for your sign, Daryl. I was. Isn't that awful? Your live show. Daryl does a live show every week. The Knucklehead Show. He's been doing that show for
18 years.
18 years. And I was sitting in with him, and he turned to me at one point and asked, and I think, and I was gonna ask him during our next segment, but I'll ask him now. Do you think that? Did you think I'd say let's do a food and restaurant show?
I really didn't know exactly. I know that you had done that in the past. I know that it wasn't going to be sports.
No, it could have been a Broadway show.
Yeah, it
right?
could have been a show about show tunes.
Right.
But I wasn't exactly sure which path you would head down with that.
So, the interesting thing, and we'll probably say this again, is that Daryl said, "God, what a great idea! Let's start it Saturday night." And it was Wednesday night, and I panicked.
Oh, that's plenty of lead time, Mark.
I don't know why I did, and I called a couple other guys, and it took us about a month, but we.
So that's what kept you up at night.
Oh yeah, it did. It still does.
And I have to tell your listening audience, because I get to brief all of our clients that are going to be interviewed by you about what to expect. Do that before all of their interviews. And you are one of the hosts that I say the following about. Mark will ask great questions. Many of them will stem from your press materials. And he almost always asks one surprise question. It's not going to be difficult to answer. It's not going to be investigative in nature. But Mark thinks about things and approaches them differently and always comes up with a great question that I would never have anticipated.
To be honest, thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
Well, it's the truth. You did that with Little Black Pants. You know, how did they get the technology in the pants? You did that with not our client, but the Orange Cowboy.
Right.
Who dressed in all orange, hat, boots, socks, everything. You asked him what color his underwear was.
Yes. Remember that, Daryl? He's grimacing.
Just great questions.
Yeah, I think
differently.
I do think differently, and not all of my questions are mine. I've said this to other people. I don't know if I've said it on the air or not, but a lot of times I think that the questions come from source, from the universe, from God, whatever you want to believe. They come through me. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to think that I'm not the average interviewer, that I do try to challenge guests.
You do your homework. Not everyone does.
Daryl has some.
We had a guest on who had worked for one of the major network talk shows, and she gave us a list of questions and the answers that she was going to give and the amount of time that we were going to spend on each of those questions and answers.
I think that's insulting.
And it is to a point, but at the end, Mark said, "So how did I do?" She said, "You would have been fired immediately if you worked for GMA or whoever it was." And he goes, "Well, why?" She says, "You didn't ask any of the questions.
You didn't follow the script."
Didn't follow the script. She said, "Even if you missed one of the questions off the list, you would have been fired." And
wow.
He was 0 for 20 as far as the questions.
Yeah, and that was Maria.
Yeah.
It was, and she's a good friend of mine, and she's a health and medical reporter on the East Coast. And she said, "You surprised me each and every time."
It came down to the point where it said, "Chuckle here, laugh here, scratch your head."
It was,
yeah, rub your nose,
right.
And it's radio.
And it's amazing. And I said, I can't work that way. I've never worked that way. Now, I will look at press material, as you said, 9 out of 10 times, I don't even bother looking at questions. Honestly.
Well, we have a policy at the Blaine Group of not providing questions to interviewers unless we are asked to. There's a few interviewers who want that assist because they might not know a topic that they're talking to a guest about. But I think it's insulting to provide the questions. And it just makes for the same old interview no matter who's talking to you.
Exactly. And
the spontaneity, because one question and that answer leads to a question out of curiosity, and that's what makes for a great interview.
Well, that's what I try to do. I mean...
You don't try.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, here's my snowball question for Devon Blaine. Devon, before she started in PR, she was an actress, a model. Daryl?
I was going to say I would believe that, no question about it.
Yeah. You're very kind, thank you. You left out the stunt car driver.
I did not know that one. The stunt car driver. In movies or just...
I did high-speed, dangerous driving maneuvers for industrial films and sales training films.
And that explains when we went to Orange County once...
Uh-oh.
why we got there in 12 minutes from Beverly Hills.
But the police who were listening didn't hear that.
No, not at all. Our guest is Devon Blaine. She is the founder of the Blaine Group, which is a major marketing and public relations firm in Southern California. She has clients from around the country. You've even done around the world.
We have had a few international clients.
One of my favorite clients from the Blaine Group was Frank Lloyd Wright's grandson, great-grandson.
Yes.
Right?
What a lovely man.
What a great guy. And we were doing media training, and we spent about 3 or 4 hours working with him, and he was a delight.
He was a total delight.
That was a couple of years ago.
I was a little surprised at the home he lived in. It was way more rustic than I would have anticipated for someone with his heritage.
Yeah, but the property is worth.
The property had amazing views.
It was gorgeous. It really
hated
was.
the drive getting there, though.
Yeah, it was a rough drive getting there.
It was a very windy, mountainous road.
Devon, thank you for celebrating with us on our 300th episode. We appreciate it a lot.
We'll celebrate soon at a happy hour.
You got it.
Thanks,
okay.
Mark.
A healthy happy hour.
Indeed.
Okay. Devon Blaine from the Blaine Group here on Late Night Health. All right, coming up, I get to spend some time with one of my favorite people, Daryl Wayne. Don't go away. Join us at latenighthealth.com.
Old souls may be the ones who've been around the block a few times, but they're also the ones who know how vastly beautiful that block is. They're the ones who still stop to smell the roses, and they always stop to drink in every small moment of life. Life may seem like it's all about seeking moments to smile, but I find it's about smiling for every moment you experience life. And old souls know this best. They're the ones who treat life like a garden. They know the only things that will ever grow within that garden are the things they've placed there, nurtured and tenderly cared for with all their heart.
For more inspiration from Robert Clancy, visit guidetothesoul.com or go to the Moments with Robert page on latenighthealth.com.
the latest from the greatest, the best in new music by classic rockers, with your host, the insane Daryl Wayne.
This is Alice Cooper, and if Daryl Wayne is insane, what does that make me? Criminally insane. Stick around to find out.
It is the latest from the greatest. We've had some really good conversations over the 5 years that this program has been going on with some great rock artists and some people from behind the scenes, authors and otherwise producers. Some of those have been captured on the latest for the greatest Volume 1. It's available on Amazon, or if you go to blackstoneaudio.com or Amazon, search for Daryl Wayne, Darrell Wayne.
I'm the Reverend Al Green, and I said Wayne insane.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment.